What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Unqualified Film Bros podcast. We got all three of us coming at you tonight. And yes, we are fulfilling our promise. We are talking about Spider-Noir tonight. But we're going to hold off and make that the second part of the episode just to make you guys wait a little longer. So, as promised from last week, we are doing a two-parter tonight. We are starting with the second theatrical entry, rather, in the DCU with Supergirl, and then we will move into the Marvel sphere of things with Prime Video's Spider-Noir. So now that you have the whole table of contents set for the next 40 minutes of your life, unless you're watching us on double speed, in which case, watch us on normal speed. We like to have time with our conversations. So, second entry in the DCU in theaters, Supergirl, Millie Alcock. Gentlemen, what'd you guys think?
Go ahead, Ben.
Um, it's not a terrible movie. As the second movie in the DC universe, this is not it. Um, I don't think you should reuse the dogs in trouble gimmick from literally your only other movie.
James Gunn said in the junket for both movies that Crypto is the main character of the DCU. I don't know if you guys heard that.
Look, this is not. I thought he was joking. That's not a
He,
thing you should
he that's not a real thing. He didn't say that.
say. All right,
Imagine Crypto showing up in Gotham before we see Batman.
that dog.
Crypto's gonna be in Clayface. Didn't you guys hear that?
He's the reason why Clayface has to go all Clayface.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's an extremely safe plot. It's very derivative. I mean, Supergirl is reduced to like just very angsty and edgy, and I don't know. It's fine. Like if you had an interesting take on the character, that's one thing. But just doing like an angsty teen, I don't know. This
Hey,
is
she's turning 23.
yeah, well, emotionally, maybe not.
Fair.
I don't know. It's a coming of age story. I think Hideo Kojima said that. But it is like one of those angsty teen coming of age stories. But I don't know how this fits in. Like going from Superman, which is like this beacon of hope and everything, and then Kara's like, I don't know. She seems to want,
Cynical?
yeah. It's just a weird thing. And I don't know. I didn't really enjoy the story that much. I thought the story was pretty lackluster. Um, and yeah, again, look, we've already done. It's just like John Wick, but a worse version. The dog doesn't even die. It's like, of course,
Which, that's a
Good.
good thing. That's good.
That's a good thing,
We
Ben.
definitely aren't rooting for that.
no, it is, but it's like the stakes are so low. It's such a mediocre.
Good. When Marvel is going all in on the multiverse this year, give us something that has lower stakes. Be different. I appreciate that choice.
Wait, look, there's lower stakes in terms of plot, and then there's lower stakes in terms of this is a plot point that fundamentally goes nowhere. It's solely just to get Kara to follow a crumb. You know, I don't know. It's too artificial. It's just I thought that the first Superman movie was great. It was exciting. It
It
was,
is.
and this one is just so derivative of other things.
It feels a lot like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Like even the third one was Rocket is incapacitated and we're gonna save our animal buddy.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like the not best parts of Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like I think where this story fails is that Supergirl has such a great comics history that they can draw so much from. And clearly we're trying to do. It's not for lack of trying. But when you have such a deep history and you don't do anything to sort of push the envelope and do something new and fresh and exciting, I think that's a missed opportunity, especially if you're following up the kickoff event to the DCU, which is Superman. And to have
Yeah,
and like Ben said, to have this be the second entry, it's just disappointing, right? Supergirl is an interesting and deep character in the comics, and they didn't take full advantage of that to the same extent that I think they did, but even sort of played it safe in Superman. I think that's kind of a running theme in the DCU so far is playing it safe, not kind of willing to lean into the zany in the fullest extent of the way, right? Like there are some things in Superman that we talked about that got cut, that could have made it maybe a little bit more interesting and a little bit more unique to James Gunn's voice. And here we get an even, I would argue, blander version of Guardians of the Galaxy when you could have done something that lived up to that kind of quality.
yeah, if you can evoke similar themes but do your own thing, I think that's the goal of a project like this. James Gunn did a lot of the same things, if you remember, 5 years ago with The Suicide Squad, which was already a reboot of a failed movie from 5 years earlier than that. But The Suicide Squad is essentially Guardians of the Galaxy over again. James
Yeah,
Gunn hits a lot of the same notes there.
I don't think it's bad to have a style, but I do think it's bad to have your second movie in a universe be like a worse version
Well,
of that style.
this movie, and you're right down to the headphones and the oversized coat. That's that's our main character. That's Star-Lord. Sorry, Supergirl, same person. Um, this movie as the second entry, I think, is where a lot of our disappointment is coming from. Am I gathering that right?
Well,
Um,
I
but
it
to
still was a disappointing movie, I think, but it's really, really bad when it's your second movie. And I think it also comes from the fact that they just had did Superman and they wanted to differentiate it in some way.
All right, let me take you back 18 years. 2008, Iron Man takes the box office by storm. And then months later, the second movie in the MCU is The Incredible Hulk, which a lot of people say is still the worst movie in the MCU 30 movies in.
Yeah, but it's really not that bad. Like
It's
it's
it's bad. It's
it's
not a good movie.
it's a fine
So
movie.
the DCU will be fine after this. Confusing choice to have this one be the second and have it not live up to the first film in the franchise. But we're getting Clayface later this year. We're getting the TV series Lanterns. The DCU is doing streaming series much faster. I mean, season two of Peacemaker was DCU. We are moving into streaming adjacent to the films and the continuity a lot faster than Marvel did, which I think is good for the story. And we're getting Man of Tomorrow right away next year.
Yeah,
So
I
the placement of this film sets it maybe at a disadvantage. Maybe Supergirl, maybe a Supergirl movie and not necessarily this Supergirl movie would have been better served 3 years from now, once you've got your feeding or your footing a little bit more sturdy. But I don't have I mean the internet trolls will tell you a lot about this movie and the review bombers will tell you a lot about this movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's just underwhelming.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's safe and like we've been saying, and to your point, George, about waiting for a few years, I don't know if that's the problem. It's not that they had they did have underbaked ideas, sure, but I don't think that 3 more years necessarily would have solved that. I just think if you're going for it and you're gonna do the first live action Supergirl movie, solo Supergirl movie, if I'm not mistaken,
In the last 40 years.
yes. So, I mean, I don't think it's asking too much for them to just go for it and like commit to it now. If your plan was always to do Supergirl right after Superman to set whatever you want up in your sort of theatrical slate, then do it. But don't give us this. Like we expected more coming out of Superman. We expected more having seen some of the projects on the slate coming up that are exciting and interesting, and just hearing about how the inception of these ideas even specifically Clayface. Like that's new and different. You've shown that you can do that. So why aren't you doing that with what is at this point supposed to be a flagship character of your universe?
I also think that this movie does not build the universe very well. Like, yes, it does take place, throughout a galaxy, but it doesn't really like build the universe the same way that Superman did. We're not being introduced to like main characters and things like that, which I think is fundamentally very bad because it's your second movie. Like, say what you will about the Incredible Hulk or, a lot of the early movies there, but they at least did something to sort of create the world itself. You like world building. You like that term. I didn't get a lot from this, and
There's
yes,
not a lot of world building here. We've got
but that's a problem just because you mentioned Clayface, and I'm excited for this, but this is not exactly like a main part. It's gonna be a horror movie. It's gonna be like a very alternative thing. So having Superman and then this sort of mediocre Supergirl film, and then we go right back to Superman. We're not creating a universe here. This is a Superman universe at a certain point with like side characters. So that's my issue here. And this is James Gunn. Like,
to
he
be
has to have
fair,
a better vision.
Superman is your flagship character.
No, there's many flagship characters for DC. Like, you have Batman.
We're getting the brave and the bold, and
Are we?
It's really
look,
slow.
and Andy Muschietti is not the man to do it. After we all saw The Flash, we remember how terrible that was. Andy Muschietti is not the guy to do that. But could Matt Reeves be the guy? Could we just retroactively fold in the Battinson?
No, you can't do it. Like the universes don't work together. They're fundamentally different visions.
But
And
that's the thing. That's the very point you just brought up with Clayface, Ben, is that we're doing so many different things, and yeah, they can all happen in the
Yeah,
same
but
universe, but
Clayface
be
isn't
so
going to be
different.
a centerpiece of the DCU. Batman will be. Whatever iteration they use, it's going to be. I mean, it's what the big three or the Holy Trinity: Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. We by the time we get
Flash, we still
through
need the
next year, we
Flash.
will have three Kryptonian based projects, and then Lanterns and 2 seasons of Peacemaker.
Here's what I'm concerned about. It took them forever. They never did a Batman movie in the Zack Snyder universe. They just folded into Superman. Terrible idea. Also, The Flash, he finally got his movie at the very end when they were ending the universe.
Never
That's
forget that the last Batman in the DCEU was George Clooney.
But that's my worry here is like we are so focused on one section of DC. And yes, we have Clayface, but it's a horror movie, and I'm excited for that. I think it's great that they're doing that movie. But I don't think that you can just focus on Kryptonians and expect that your universe will survive. People don't just care about Superman. There's a lot of people that love Batman. There's a lot of people that love The Flash. People love The Flash. People love the Green Lanterns, and yes, they get a TV show, but fundamentally, that is not as big of a thing as a movie. And it's gonna be multiple lanterns, and that's kind of cool. but it's something different. It's not the main part of the universe. They're doing like a sort of true detective thing, I guess is what they were saying they were inspired by. These are all cool ideas, but in order to actually successfully make a universe, you can't rely on those fringe ideas. Marvel failed because they did so many TV series. Some of them were really cool, but some of them just didn't get watched. And that's my worry is like if people are not interested anymore, 2 years from now, they're definitely not going to be interested if you're coming out with, their favorite heroes then. Like this is the time to introduce them. So you shouldn't have waited. We don't have a release date for some of this stuff. That's not good. For your main characters, it's not a flagship. Like, you know, Max said, it's three or maybe five. There's a few of them. And they're all equally as important. Batman, certainly. It's at least a two-headed race for popularity.
We'll get a Justice League movie by 2030. I'm sure of that.
But like, who's gonna want to watch that if you get the first Batman movie in 2028 or 2029
Yeah.
We
or
would
early
watch it.
2030 and you get a Justice League movie, like they do a dual release in like
I mean, say what you will about some of those movies, but Marvel at least released all of those films. They released Thor, Hulk, Captain America, all within like 2 years. They introduced the Avengers immediately. And you're waiting so long to introduce the
Phase one was 5 years.
phase one
Iron Man, Incredible Hulk,
includes the Avengers though.
Iron Man 2, Thor, First Avenger, and the Avengers. And that was
Yeah,
'08 to 2012. So 4 years.
4 years, and the fourth year was when you got the team up movie. Like they were starting to introduce, they had at least three of them in 2 years.
they're already talking about a Supergirl sequel.
I mean, you just can't do that. They did that for Iron Man. If you want to do Superman, fine, but you cannot focus so much on this. And you saw like the movie was, I mean, they're trying to do something else with Kara, but that's because they're focusing so much on this story. You could have just introduced, frankly, normal Kara and not angsty, edgy Kara, um, which there are, comic variations on that, but normally she's pretty hopeful, just like Superman. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing
And
that,
I
but
think
you
I think
try to do something
choo
different than this.
I think choosing to put this film at this point in the timeline is meant to, I think the creative choice to make Kara cynical and less of an optimist about the universe than Clark is was done deliberately. I think we're meant to see exactly what's talked about in the movie, what Kara talks about with Ruthie as two sides of the same coin. These two lost souls from Krypton who see the universe in opposite ways and how their viewpoints and their personalities would clash based on that. And
Yeah,
that's why we get the Kara we do here.
yeah, I agree. I don't actually have a problem with the way she was carried. It was fine, but and I'm glad that we saw some resolution or some, movement towards resolution at the end when she moves to Earth, which is great. And I get and I'm fine with that being the biggest connection to the DCU. That I'm totally fine with that. But I think the way we got there was the most underwhelming part for me. Not that there wasn't some bigger connection necessarily. It would have been nice, sure, but not necessary. I think the biggest disappointment and letdown was just that it felt kind of forced to get there. It wasn't a great ride.
It's not it's not the best written movie. The script has flaws. It's very, I don't want to say cliche, but follows a lot of fundamental building blocks for a superhero movie of this ilk, as we've been talking about. Um, Jason Momoa as Lobo was a bright spot, I think having seen him as Aquaman and seeing him as Lobo, I want to see more Lobo. I think this was a good first step for that character. I liked how much he was featured, particularly in the third act. What else about this movie?
I do like Lobo. He's a good character, and I'm glad that they introduced him.
And I think he's a good, not necessarily foil, but character to have, side character to have in a Supergirl story that shows Kara being this kind of edgier version of the character, where we can see how a character who is all grown up and sees the universe in sort of the same way, how that transforms a heroic character and how it makes them more bitter and jaded into adulthood and their heroing activities. So it gives Kara something to look at as an option for her future, or she can look at Clark.
I
And that's interesting for the character to me.
I think it's funny because I think Lobo was originally introduced as a like parody of some of the edgier, gritty characters from Marvel, like Wolverine, the like.
Oh, absolutely. Just look at the character design.
But yeah, so he is kind of the ultimate version of what Kara will become, which I think that's fine. And frankly, I guess I don't have an issue as much with her being edgy. It's just that the rest of the movie is lacking, and
And
I don't
and
feel. I wish she would have transformed a little bit more at the end. I mean, we get a transformation, but I don't know.
she puts on the suit.
I'm okay with waiting
She
a little bit longer to get, because if the whole point is to have Superman and Supergirl be at the forefront of your universe, like you've positioned them to be, we should be with these characters for a long enough time that we get a good arc across the entire universe, right? That's the idea. That's fine. I don't mind the incremental, but
and that's what we're set up for now in Man of
yes,
Tomorrow. They're together in Metropolis.
yeah.
Well, we'll
And
see how.
we saw them together at the end of Superman, where she's picking up crypto at in the Antarctic, the Fortress of Solitude.
Solitude.
Um, couple more notes on this movie before we change gears to Spider Noir. Um, just the most bizarre, confusing needle drop in the history of motion pictures with a fucking Jimmy Eat World cover, acoustic cover. No, Ben, that's even your little scatting there was more upbeat than what we get in the movie. You've got an action sequence, and we're hearing like a lullaby version of the middle.
It's gonna put you to sleep in the middle. Give me sleep world, more like.
Like that's a moment where I feel like it's not rocket science that we should be
I don't
getting
know
the
what that was.
Supergirl theme here,
It
man.
should
Like
be a score, not a song.
just
Max,
like
I
give us
completely
something
agree.
great. Just give us something
I will
awesome
say
And
with
it's not
like a
even
loud
like it's not even like in Ragnarok where we get fucking Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin as Thor's kicking ass on the Rainbow Bridge.
that's fine. That's cool. It's
This is just weird.
it halts the I've said
I was staring at the screen like,
Had you guys heard it before you went to see it?
I heard something about a needle drop and I didn't know what it was.
But you
me
knew
too.
it when it happened.
A
As
needle
soon as it
drop.
happened,
Because
shit.
because people were bringing up the fact that what was it, the director Craig
Gillespie.
Gillespie.
um that James Gunn recommended some of the needle drops.
I saw that
I
headline
was like,
too.
oh, he must have recommended that one, huh? Blaming him for that choice.
But not there. Don't put that cover there.
It's so bizarre.
James Gunn did one movie without a soundtrack and decided, nope, can never do that again, not even in a movie that isn't mine.
Yeah, I do. I guess the other thing is it still feels like James Gunn. I think he did write it, right? He wrote this one. No, he
Hmm.
didn't write this one.
He was just a producer.
Yeah.
He wrote the story. Sorry, that's what I meant.
The story, yeah. Or he co-wrote the story.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I don't know.
Anna Noguera wrote the script, I
Screenplay.
think. Yeah,
He
the
told
screenplay.
them to put in needle drops like he does. Is this gonna be a thing? Because like it's fine when James Gunn does it, but you
It's
can't.
fine. It's fine when it's punk rocker. It's not fine when it's
And also when it's
an
weird.
acoustic cover of The Middle by Jimmy Eat World.
I really like weird the stuff that James Gunn puts in.
I kind of just trust that he's gonna put in something that will work, right? Like he's proven time and time again that he knows what he's doing, picking songs for moments.
And they often fit thematically. They fit with the
Yeah.
vibe of the scene
Or if they're
or a
off, it's for a
montage.
reason, like
Yeah.
yeah.
But he's been doing this for his entire career, or
Mhm.
like half his career, I should say. But
Certainly since Guardians 12
Yeah.
years ago.
I think Guardians was the first start because before that he was really just weirdo like sci-fi horror comedy stuff.
Scooby-Doo.
And
All
I
of the
guess
above.
Scooby-Doo he got Sugar Ray in the movie, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, again, I think they gotta find ways to differentiate it a little bit. Like I know
Yeah.
it's Supergirl and it's adjacent to Superman, but
Also,
I
can
think
we
that's
just
the other thing. It's a second movie, but it still feels like derivative of the first and derivative of other better stuff.
agree? And before we switch over to Spider Noir, can I just point out that we did not plan to be wearing primary colors, the color of Supergirl's suit. It just sort of happened tonight. We didn't, this was not a concerted effort.
Hilarious.
Good
So
stuff.
I'll do the wrap on Supergirl after we're done with
Should bring a
Spider
rain.
Noir. But segue. DC to Marvel, that's easy enough. Let's talk about Spider Noir. I liked it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I did too. I liked it a lot.
It's like it's a cheesy kind of noir thing, but I like that. It's really fun. It's I really appreciated that they did some interesting camera angles. I think you have to see them really well in the black and white.
It's
Yep.
shot so well, and the black and
Yep.
white
The
just
black and white looked so good.
it
Color,
really so
it
I
doesn't.
I saw the first episode in color because my TV didn't give me the option, and
Oh,
I was like, fuck it, I'm already watching it. I might as well watch the first one in color. And then I watched the rest of the series on a different TV, and it had the option for every single episode. So black and white, black and white, black and white. So I will go back and I will rewatch the first episode in black and white, but that was my viewing experience.
What was
Seven in black and white, one in color.
what was it like going from the color to the black and white? Did you
yeah.
notice?
Um, Noticed a lot with the lighting.
Yeah.
And I think lighting is first of all, you can't do film noir if you're not going to light your film well. It just the mystery elements and the dramatic beats will not hit nearly as well
They,
if
they're
you're not lighting it well.
they're
But
direct expressionism, which necessarily included shadows.
I think what the color version suffered from, at least in the first episode, and I would not go back and watch 2 through 8 in color because I think it loses something.
Yeah.
I think what we get is unfortunately what we get with a lot of big budget projects now, and that's an attempt to do very realistic lighting, even for when this project is set. It's still kind of muted colors, not necessarily bright comic booky uh in terms of the art direction of the piece. Certainly to the extent of like Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse, something animated that really shows off the comic book nature of comic book characters. And what Spider-Noir, I mean, we even see in the Spider-Verse movies, Spider-Noir is always in black and white. And that's what this series required. So all of that to say, watch this in black and white. And just one more note on the way it's lit. You can kind of tell in the color version, the one episode that I saw, that they're going for it. But then as soon as the colors are gone, it's that much more striking what they choose to do with lighting half a face and use of shadow in alleyways and nightclubs and even
Stretching
Ben's
the shadows.
office.
When you see it in color, I don't think you could probably see the stretching of the shadows
Hmm.
as good in some of the weirder.
No, you're absolutely right.
I'm thinking of the mirror house scene in the last episode
In the
with
final
Brennan
episode,
Gleeson. Yeah,
would
I
not
mean
I
that
I dread
incredible.
what that looks like in color.
Yeah, I saw just the trailer in color, and then I watched it in black and white. I was gonna watch in black and white no matter what, but I was just sort of curious. And yeah,
Also,
it's like
the
they just colorized black and white. It's like they used to
yeah,
do this with black and white films. They colorized them, and when you watch some of the German expressionist films, I watched Nosferatu in color, and good Lord, it looks terrible. It looks like a joke. Like there's just a random guy standing around. It's no longer scary. It's comical. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
and
black and white.
it's remarkable how much you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all derived from the shadows and the lighting. It's just lighting, shadows. So when you have the broad, colors, there's just so much more going on.
and the suit. I mean, it's not a full
The suit.
superhero costume, but the mask, the hat, the
Oh
coat
God, I bet it looks terrible in
in
color.
color, it's gray, sure, but in black and white, it stands out so well against the world around him.
He actually looks like a shadow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the way he moves is just, it's exceptional.
I think his webs look really cool in the black and white too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the web design.
Yeah, they look great.
They're very, well, they're organic webs, which we
Hmm.
haven't really seen much of in recent years. But
About
well,
to.
true. Peter too had them. He was cool. You're cool. Um, but they look, I don't know what word I want to use here, but they look sturdier, the webs.
They look kind of nightmarish too. Like
Yeah, that's a good
they're
word for it.
they look like
Obstacles. Like
yeah, and like this you can see this like black goo coming at you like at really high speeds, and then it starts to expand
And then
as it gets
covers
closer
you
to you. And then are you that's terrifying.
it kind of reminds me of some of the designs from like Venom
Hmm.
or different
a little
Venom
bit. Yeah.
Hmm.
movies. Just that like goo.
Hmm.
But yeah, certainly more nightmarish origins for him and for all the superhero characters or super
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, I appreciated, and we'll get more of this just going back to Clayface in terms of the body horror, but I appreciated that they kind of went in on body horror, showing us the soldiers that were experimented on who became these super people or attempts at super people uh with different animal characteristics that then mutated and went horribly wrong and ended up killing these poor men. But yeah, they did not hold back with showing the creepy. And I think for a character like Spider Noir and knowing his comic history, you can show creepy and it works for the character and the world around him.
In fact, you should show creepy because if they did this,
Absolutely, yeah.
it would be really, you know, lackluster.
Because Ben Riley is not Peter Parker. He's not Miles Morales. We're not expecting this kid Spider-Man or young adult Spider-Man finding his way in the world. This is a grizzled serviceman at the twilight of his superheroing career, still called to service. And we a lot of that idea is really reflected in how Nicolas Cage plays the character, and I love Nicolas Cage's performance. The accent especially. Old-timey New York really works for Nick Cage and for Lamorne Morris when he's doing the impression in the eighth episode. Uh,
His spider dances are great too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Nick Cage becomes this character so well. And I think part of that might have been voicing him in two films previous to this. But I just think the way that he embodies the physicality and the emotional state of this character really shows attention to detail, really shows a love for the character and for the work, where I mean, Nick Cage has never shied away from doing kind of sillier stuff, for lack of a better phrase, but he's willing to go to the ridiculous for the art, and it comes across in this film or in this series.
Yeah, it really feels like an old B movie. Like it seems like something that Vincent Price would be in. Uh,
Yeah,
and that's definitely like the hamminess of Dick Cage's accent, and frankly, like everybody in it, they're all very hammy, very campy performances.
even Brendan Gleeson as a villain, as Silverman.
It's a very like over the top. It's fantastic. They really embraced what they were going for. And I think it's better to do that than probably like a real serious noir. Like there's seriousness to it, but there's a levity that I think is necessary for something that is so like almost a parody of noirs. You have to embrace that part. I, yeah, I loved it. I mean, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything because there is a
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
and,
um,
and we have spoiled a little bit, but that's kind of what we do here.
yeah, we talked about the experimentation, but other than that, I feel like we haven't spoiled too much other than character designs and
I do, just speaking of character designs, the way that we get like Megawatt and Sandman, Flint Marco, I think the way that those characters are designed is really, really cool.
yeah, Sandman
Uh,
looks really, really cool. I thought he was going to turn into like uh
Thomas Hayden Church.
that wouldn't be wild. Uh like
I fell into a super collider.
I thought he was going to turn into somebody else or
Mm.
Bane or something like that.
I did appreciate that we didn't really see much of the full body sand manipulation that we get from the Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man No Way Home version of the character. But what we get here is more subtle, more subdued. We see obviously the strength of his sand fist that he uses. And then, spoilers, sorry, Ben, uh, in the eighth episode, when the final fight sequence is happening and Ben Riley crushes him between two cars, which is fucking awesome, by the way, to see him use the webs like that and sling him up and crush the Sandman between two cars. We see the fist reconstitute on the ground, and then it's all shifting back together. And then the next scene, we see him fully back together. Like, we don't need to see the full reassembly, but it's cool to see just a hint at it and the way that we understand the character works.
Yeah. But also very old school design for Sandman that used to be how everybody used to just punch each other in comics. very rarely you had like powers, something.
Kapow.
Yeah, you'd have some of that.
Blam.
And they're like more mobsters, so they would just punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Punch and shoot.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
zap like Megawatt.
not just
Megawatt.
nobody.
Talk about a great accent.
He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
I still think other than Nick Cage, Lamorne Morris was probably my favorite inclusion in the cast. I think he plays Robbie Robertson as the way the character has always been meant to be played.
I think I'm just
So
not
good.
gonna get over the line that Megawatt says. He gets shot and then he says, "Nobody shoots me." Like, that's what you say. It's so good.
I don't think we can top that. I think we got to end the episode right there.
Yeah, and also like you gotta just see it, you
Yeah.
know?
There's
Yeah,
there's very little that we could describe. Again, the camera angles are great. They really tried to do justice to the um cinematography of, old school noirs, while
Hmm.
still being updated and obviously computer enhanced these days. Still, I liked it visually. It looks awesome. And
definitely watch it in black and white.
For sure.
So we'll go in reverse order here at the end. Spider Noir, since we were just talking about it, is streaming on Prime Video. Please watch it in black and white. Supergirl is not available in black and white, but you can see it in these three primary colors and a whole bunch of others on the big screen right now. Second entry in the DCU. Check it out. Form your own opinion. Let us know what you think. We got Clayface, Lanterns, Man of Tomorrow on deck. So we're looking forward to all of that. Next week, Boots Riley has been so active on Twitter, we thought we just had to do I Love Boosters. So instead of paying the cost for a movie ticket, we will be paying the rental cost for a movie that was out of theaters, I believe, far too soon. But I'm sure I'll rant about short theatrical windows next week. To that end, support movies in theaters, ban AI in filmmaking, and watch some good movies and TV shows. We will see you for I Love Boosters next week. Have a good night, everyone. Happy 4th.
good
Good
night.
night.